Jim, thanks for joining us. Bit of a strange end to season there, 1-1 against York City. It was a funny old game, seemed like a sort of bit of a... There was plenty going on, but nothing seemed to be happening in the first half, but it all kicked off in the second half, didn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're disappointed that we come in a goal down. We had decent enough chances and that, and they've threatened a few times and got a couple of dangerous crosses into the box, but seemed to explode into life. Obviously, they've scored right on half time, which I thought coming in at half time we didn't deserve to be behind, but we were. But credit, they had a go. They battled away, and there was chances at both ends. Could have gone either way. He's just hoping right at the end there when Mullers goes through that he's going to slot it and you get a 2-1. We'll be finished on a positive note. So wasn't to be, but I thought the response of the crowd were absolutely excellent today. It was quite emotional, to be honest, and fair play to them for that. But they got behind the team. You can hear them singing the players' names, and that's how fair play. Absolutely excellent. But it was important that we didn't lose the game in the end. Although we wanted to chase and get a winner, York had a good side on the counter attack, which they've shown a couple of times within the game. So it was important we never lost. So so there you go.
Looking at a quick look back over the season as a whole, I know the chairman's put quite a bit of store behind saying that the Dagenham defeat in the cup probably affected the players and the whole staff more than we ever thought. Do you agree with that one?
It was a killer. I remember sitting at home watching the second round draw and with one of my lads and seeing who we could have potentially got in the second round, and obviously everyone wants to get to the third round proper. Obviously Dagenham, the team who beat us, went to my club Everton, so it was but we didn't know that at the time, but you can see the path.
Yeah. And
we're so eager to win a game. We had a good chance down there. I think it was Tom had a great chance late on, but we drew 0-0. And then we come back up here, and on the night it was terrible conditions, and I just remember obviously getting 2 goals up and thinking great, we're cruising, but the first time they put the ball in our box, it got caught in the wind, made a poor decision, give a penalty away. And then I think it was James doing it, screaming, and it ticked Andy Fleming in the head, could have gone anywhere in the ground, it nestled right in the top corner, and you come in and you think, how the hell are we 2-2 in a game that we were up, because we could have been 3 or 4 up, we had great chances. But second half, I remember the crowd was one of the lowest points of them all shouting attack, and you couldn't do nothing about it. The way the wind had changed, they pushed 4 up against our back 4, you couldn't roll it out, you had to kick, they made us kick, they got the game plan right second half and the wind got up, and it was impossible. Every time they got the ball, they having pop shots everywhere, and it was a disgusting night, like it was horrible. And to get beaten in the FA Cup, and it takes its toll, but we weren't too bad. I think the bigger turning point was getting beat by Mansfield at home in January. It was January.
2 in 5 minutes for them, yeah.
That was a proper, and when you look back over a season and you do pick little games out, that was a proper body blow, that one. In a game that I thought we would have won, suddenly we lost 2-1, and then it was Newport, we got beat 2-1. And again, we should have probably won. They come into our half once in the second half. We go to Mansfield away, game, and we shouldn't have lost again. We lost 2-1.
2 penalties missed.
Yeah, 2 penalties missed. So that was probably the start. It was mid-January, because as I said, before, I think it was when we beat Yeovil with 4 or 5 points maybe outside the playoffs in a decent position. But there's been a lot of factors that have played a part here. We haven't been good enough, is one of them. But there is reasons behind it. I'm not going to stand here and go, what about that decision, what about that injury, what about that suspension, what about this, what about that. There's been quite a few things that have happened which it's played its part, and it's all come together, and the form's been poor from then on in. We haven't really dragged right into a relegation battle, and once we did get safe, it was a case of trying 1 or 2 things, because we got to have one eye on next season. If we did need points, over players who maybe been out the side and in and out, is there is a shout for you always play your strongest side, and sometimes I'll look at I'm the first person to look at is when things go wrong, and it's been a very hard balancing act, because ultimately we're going to lose players at the end of the season, but there's other players who are here, and you've got to get more game time into them to try and bring them on for the following season. So it wasn't always maybe your strongest side, but people might say we'll always play your strongest side, but it is a bigger picture, so it's been a little bit awkward. As I say, a lot of things have been documented about, and a lot of things haven't, and it's all played a part, and it's been disappointing from mid-January onwards. So, but the big thing is that we've we've been comfortable, safe for the last couple of weeks. You know, and it's mad that I was only saying to Ken today, if we needed to win this game today to stay up, and we would have won and stayed up, imagine how happy the place would be, and everyone would be celebrating. But it'd be the same outcome at the end of the day. We're still in the Football League next season, so everyone should be proud of that. The fans should be proud of that because they played the part, and everyone connected with the club. We go into our 10th year as a Football League club, but we've got to learn from this one, and we've got to regroup and see what we've got, and put things together and put things in place with regards to improving next season.
I think, final question, you've probably got in need of A, a holiday, but then B, you've got some quite difficult decisions over the summer, because obviously what with the possible takeover and I suppose the if you like the lack of real sort of if you like certainty in the boardroom doesn't give you that certainty to go out and see what you can get and stuff like that, so it's quite a difficult time for you, I would imagine.
It will be, yeah, but that's football, isn't it? It's not easy, and if it was easy everyone would be stood here doing it. You know, I always say that it's a very difficult job. I found this season, well, certainly the second half of the season, been my most difficult. You know, we flirted more with relegation a couple of seasons ago when we got beat at Hartlepool 2-1 when they were down to 10 men, and you're thinking, God, we've got to go to Wimbledon and get a result. But you know, this club is close to my heart, and I'll always do my best. I only want what's right for the club, and you know, I'm absolutely wiped out because I was dying to win that game today. I was kicking every ball, and I was winless to win. But as I say, it's gone now, and we see what happens over the coming weeks and months, and there's decisions to be made, and who knows what the future holds. Hopefully it's a bright one, I'm sure it will be, and we've give ourselves an opportunity to go again next season, and who knows what's around the corner. But as I say, hopefully it's a positive. You know, we've had a dip this second half of the season. We've fallen into a poor position within the league, but you know, with the help of one or two things next season or whatever, hopefully we can go and do a Leicester or something like that. That's the way you've got to approach every season and be positive. But the coming weeks will be difficult, but it's no different to any other year.
We'll have a good holiday, and we'll see you at pre-season training.
Thank you very much.
Nice talking to you. Cheers, kid.